Give it up. Take a seat. Take a vocal rest.
Oh.
Wow. That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you kindly.
That was really lovely.
Oh, stop it.
I enjoy hearing you sing. I always enjoy hearing you sing, but I especially enjoy hearing you sing when you get to just stand there and sing and you don't have to be on wheels at the same time.
No 8 wheels, guys. Do I look that different without them?
Yeah.
I say that like I've chosen like more comfortable shoes and I've not, but
I assume you're used to it at this point.
No, I am. If I don't wake up and I don't have blisters, that's when I think something's up.
What's the ankle situation? How's the ankle health?
They're non-existent. There's no health at all. But it's the sort of thing I've kind of got used to it now. It's like being on skates actually didn't hurt. It's now being off skates that hurts more. So I've just got used to that. But hey, I mean, comes with the package of the job, I think.
Sure. Now let's talk about that job. So I met you for the first time on carpets for various awards shows where you kept winning awards.
Oh, wow.
For your amazing debut as Rusty in Starlight Express. And I think I told you at the Stage Debut Awards I was rooting for you. Not that category wasn't filled with fantastic talent, but they weren't doing it on roller skates. And I think that has to count for something.
I mean, I remember you saying that, and I was like, you know what? None of them are on 8 wheels, and so because of that, don't get me wrong, they're doing some great stuff, but at the end of the day, I'm getting blisters every day, and so when Mickey Jo said it, I was like, you know what, someone else is like encouraging it, so you know, I'll feed into that as well.
Imagine if Tom Francis had been doing the Sunset Boulevard.
Can you imagine that on outside?
They'd have had to change the tempo.
He'd be whizzing by, almost knocking the coal off. Yeah. I can imagine it. I can. It wouldn't. I mean, we say it like it's that extortionate. It's still Andrew Lloyd Webber. You know.
It is. And don't put ideas out into the universe for Jamie Lloyd to hear. What do you think Jamie Lloyd's Starlight Express would look like?
Well, I'd end up in my pants.
Yeah.
So you know,
covered in
however we get there, that's gonna be the end result. So
covered in oil, I imagine. I think is probably the natural conclusion.
Good. Yes. Very good.
Yeah, I'm seeing a disused railway line.
You know what I mean? Yeah, a lot of euphemisms coming into play.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go back to the very beginning because I want to hear about the casting process and how you came to that role, making your thrilling stage debut, and let everyone know how old you were at the time that you were cast.
Well, I was 17, and it was a very unorthodox route. I was luckily enough, I was spotted on TikTok. I was putting covers out and singing and doing all sorts of stuff. And it just so happened to land on a casting director's For You page on TikTok. And he got into contact. He was like, hey, do you want to audition for this thing? I was like, yeah, go on, what is it? And he was like, it's Starlight Express. I was like, never heard of it, but fine. I went to my parents, I was like, what's Starlight Express? And my dad was like, I remember back in the good old days. He said it was the only show he's ever watched that my mom forced him to go to that he's not fallen asleep in. And so I was like, oh, now I'm intrigued. And so I was like, absolutely. I did a self-tape for it, and then I did a few more rounds, and then 2 weeks later, I was like walking into the room, and Andrew Lloyd Webber was just sitting there like this, and I was like, what is happening? But and then I got the job, and now I'm sitting here with you.
You are. You are indeed. Stage Debut Award. Yep. What's on Stage Award.
Yeah.
Arlene Phillips has your phone number.
Me and Arlene, my bestie. I love her. That's actually something which is so crazy to say, because it's like being able to like say that these people are mentors. And it's like, if I ever needed to reach out to like someone like Andrew Lloyd Webber, or like, I mean, I say Arlene, I message her every other week saying, hi, Bob, how you doing? And she's like, yeah, I'm good, thanks. But like the people that to me were like the biggest things in the world, the fact that I even get to like have them in my phone book or know of them or see them so often and talk to them on a regular basis is so crazy to me, because these people shaped what I wanted to do when I was, growing up and still growing up now. It's like, it's crazy. So it's brought so many opportunities, but I think just the education of it, because, I skipped drama school. And so I had this massive imposter syndrome being like, oh my goodness, everyone here has been through 5-6 years of training. They know their stuff. And I was walking in going, hi. And I didn't know a single thing. They were like, okay, so now we're going to go downstage. And I went, who's that? I didn't know a thing. And so the fact that this in my way has been my education. It's been my drama school. You know, the fact that I've been lucky enough to have it practically, like, as opposed to on paper, has been so amazing. And the fact that that's my education and my mentors are, you know, people like Dame Arlene Phillips and Sarah and Lloyd Webber is crazy. So I think I'll always have that to be thankful for.
Yeah. Was getting, because the Stage Debut Award, I think, is the first thing that you won for playing Rustic. Was that validating, having not come through a drama school route?
Absolutely. And I think it says a lot more about the Stage Debut Awards than it does just me, because it was like, there were people there who were already established, you know? You had Miles Frost there, you had Jack Wolf there, you had, you know, Rose Ellis, who won the year before. And it's like, these people, they know their stuff and they've been in the industry, but it's like, it's actually acknowledging that this is someone's debut in this industry. They're taking that first bold step into it, into that very scary place, is so, like, so humbling, but also, like, it makes me go, like, oh, wow, okay, so this is what's really going to happen. You know, throughout the whole year, there was so much press and stuff, but when I got into that room, it was when I went, oh, so this is what it's going to be like. I could get used to this, and I did, so.
Yeah. But also, I mean, and you could talk about, and the imposter syndrome is still a very valid thing, but, you know, you go to drama school, if people do, and you train for years, there's still, nothing can prepare you for playing a singing train in Starlight Express. Like, you have to imagine the training is not that bespoke. And in particular, and this is the thing that not everyone might know about the show, you weren't roller skating beforehand. They're not casting like, let's look for the musical theatre stars who are also great skaters.
No, not at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were a bunch of people that came from the German production in Bochum or had done it before. However, even then, everyone gets taught at some point to do it. It's not people, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's been a couple of people who already knew how to skate and stuff. But for the most part, we got practically sent to this rogue location, and for 6 days a week, many hours a day, it wasn't like a nice putting on music and vibing in a roller disco type place. It was blood, sweat, and tears. And I was like, this is 6 days a week, and it was long days, and eventually we saw the progress. But yeah, no, none of us really knew how to skate before. So the fact that we had the amazing people that were able to train us is amazing. But then that was just the first part, you know? We learned to skate, and then like, okay, now we've got to choreograph and do numbers and sing. The singing was hard. I was on those skates, I was like, Starlight Express. But you know, stamina and all of that. So eventually it builds up to it. But no, it took a lot of endurance.
I was going to say, what is the mechanism like of, do you have a different kind of a process when you are standing still flat on the ground, or are there different things that you have to think about in terms of like diaphragm and activation? What's going through your head when you're singing on wheels?
A lot of the time it's, so we always have to, I don't know if you can tell because of the costumes, but we are always in some form of like bent knee position, which means that like, so it was like the first thing we got taught, bend your knees, bend your knees, bend your knees. I think one person even got it tattooed. They heard it that much. They were like, I must bend my knees. I must bend my knees. And so that's one thing. And then it's like, also, we can't just be singing and just go on the back burner and just go like, you know, like how I was just singing just then. I was like, at one point I just like sat back a bit. I was like, if I did that, I'd be going flying, you know? So it's like, yes, I'm worrying about, okay, am I singing this right? Am I getting these lyrics right? Am I in time with everyone? But then it's also, am I like standing right? Am I up right? Am I like, you've got to stagger, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. If you don't, not only does it affect you, but if you're like skating and singing and you do the slightest thing wrong on wheels, it doesn't just affect you. It affects the, you know, the domino effect that's going to happen with the 8 people behind you that are all going to go, a word I'm not going to say. They're all going to crash as well, because like, it's a sort of show, it really is not about you. It affects everyone you're on stage with, so.
Yeah. How many weeks or months did it take before it was in a place of muscle memory and you were like, this is just what I do?
I'd say it took about, I mean, skate school is what we called it, and that took around 12 to 14 weeks. And even that then, I think, we came out of that going, okay, we know how to skate now, but do we know how to do a musical on skate? So I think it was that sort of time frame, that merging it between rehearsals, that we were like, okay, now I feel confident enough to do it. But even now, I mean, I'll go on skates and I'll be like, I've forgotten everything. I don't know what I'm doing. So I think never get too blasé when you're on 8 wheels, because just when you think you've got it, you ain't.
I never really saw anyone.
Well, now see, this is the thing. We called it floor tax, and if you paid your floor tax, you're falling over. I actually only fell over twice in the whole year.
Wow.
And I was quite proud about that. I was quite proud. However, the 2 times I did fall were drastic, and I made it everyone's problem. I made sure everyone knew. I've fallen down, stop everything. But you know what? I got back up and carried on. One time I got back up, I just wanted this to the audience. I went, I'm okay. I just carried on. I was like, I'm not in the mood. I was like, guys, I'm fine. And then I just carried on singing.
What point in the show was that?
My first number. My first number.
Because you have to worry about the dramaturgy where they're going, I don't think Rusty's going to win this race.
You know what I mean? Yeah. One time I went the wrong way in the race and I was supposed to win. So, spoiler alert, I was winning at the end. And so at the end, I'm supposed to go all the way around and I go up the massive ramp and yay, I win. This numpty decides to go the wrong way completely. And so I'm supposed to go, how do I pitch? I'm supposed to go round and up, and I just go right onto the side where like there's this main stage. And so I'm now watching as everyone who's supposed to be behind me is going up the right way, winning. And I'm stood on the rest of the stage going, oh. And you know, the audience couldn't tell, but the ushers, they knew, and they were looking and they were going, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know what to do. And so I just sprinted, as you could, on the skates. And just, you know, that being said, I was quite a fast skater because I managed to go round the whole track. I sprinted past all of them and still made it on time for my, like, winning entry. So if that doesn't tell you that I was trained well, then I don't know what will.
What did the child who was playing Control do in normal
I
business
saw
as
the
usual?
face. The face was going... It's the only race that they're on stage for, and you know I don't blame them. It's a my co-workers were doing the same. They're like, he's supposed to be in front of us, and I was standing way down there, going, don't know what to do. And I just remember seeing everyone go, and so I just did it. I went all the way around, made my entry. I was like, guys, if that's convincing for you, then great. And if it's not, well, I can't do anything about that. So.
Waiting for a child actor to say, we moved the finish line.
You know what I
Rusty's
mean?
the only one who noticed.
Yeah, I would have loved some improv from the little kid, but no, that's okay.
They were very well seasoned. I remember when I came to either the dress run or press night looking through the program, and it was so exciting seeing so many professional debuts and yourself and so many graduates. And I was like, do you know how's the most credits in this show is all of the children playing
None
Control.
of them were debuting. None of them. They had more credits than all of us combined.
And it was Wembley Park, and they'd all done West End shows, so you had to imagine they were all like...
Oh no, but on top of that, we were nervous around them. There was this one kid who she was so good. Like, she made all of us so scared every time that she was on, because we were like, we don't want to do badly in front of her because she's that good. She gets everything right. On top of that, what's annoying is the fact that she's a lovely person. That's what makes it worse. And I remember in rehearsals or something, and like, you know, it's new, it's fresh, and I think I did the wrong line. I just remember looking at her, and she went, I was like, I'm sorry I'm not a seasoned professional like you. But no, they know their stuff. They've all
wasting
done
her
stuff.
time is
you know what I
happened.
mean? But yeah, no, I'm not surprised. And all of them were so amazing. When you actually put down how many lines, the controls, that was the kid's character, when you put down how many lines they had and how many times they were on stage, it was so much. And so, you know, not only the kids, but their parents, the chaperones, and the kids' directors who were all training them, they were doing like the Lord's work, because we couldn't do all that, let alone having 10, 11-year-olds do it. It was, I think, at one point, the youngest control we had was 9. And I was like, how are you remembering all that? Did you not learn your ABCs yesterday? But no, they were amazing, and I'm very envious of all of them.
Yeah. So you finished with the show like just over a week ago?
I want to say, yeah, like a week and a half ago.
Yeah, but then got the skates back on yesterday to go do West End Live?
I did indeed. The train stopped for a pit stop, and then, you know, you should have seen though, I was putting the makeup back on, I was like, oh, I forgot about this, or, oh, the skates, I forgot. And they were like, Jeevan, you've been gone a week. I was like, you were gone longer when you went on holiday. I was like, I remember this building. And it was the Wembley Troubadour, you know? And no, but it was not. It was so lovely to be back in it. I mean, West End Live is something which is a bucket list that's, you know, crossed off. And I really want to do it again. But oh my goodness, that crowd, I've been nervous a bunch of times, but that was really nerve-wracking because also it's like, it's not just like the familiar faces that you know, it is completely new people as well. And on top of that, it doesn't stop as far as the eye can go. It's like so many people. And no, everyone was lovely. It was a lovely environment. Everyone backstage was lovely. But I was so scared, especially that stage on the skates.
You did so well.
Oh, thanks. No, it was so, and you know, especially singing two of my favorite songs as well from the show, performing with the amazing Sophie, who is the new Pearl, which was nice. It was a new dynamic, and yeah, I just loved it. That heat, though, that was crazy.
I did say to you earlier that it kind of put to shame the cast members, like, I love you, Moulin Rouge, but they were wearing T-shirts and jeans, and I was like, if the trains can do it, I feel like...
You know what I mean? So when they first talked to me about West End Live, I was like, this is amazing. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in like a Starlight hoodie or something. I'm going to put some skates on, piece of cake, walk in the park. And they were like, yeah, amazing. So we're going to plug up your rusty jacket now in your backpack. And I went, who for? They went, for you, babe. And I was like, we're doing this in costume. They were like, yes, me love, we are. And I was shocked. I was bamboozled. And it was fine once we were in it, but I mean, the heat it was hilarious. Us both coming off backstage and just having like ice packs, like just spacked like straight onto our faces it was needed, so.
I am always a nerd about vocal choices, and so many of the little riffs and runs yesterday in I Do, it was so good. Is it something that, do you have a whole pre-planned map of like, this is how I'm going to sing the song? Or is it in the moment? Is it felt, even with the performance you just gave, are you thinking about it? Are you crafting them? What's the process?
This is my favorite question. So anyone who's been to Starlight will know, and I shouldn't really say this, but like no two performances are ever the same. Not because I'm like going like doing these crazy things, but like for that performance specifically, I was like, I went to the amazing MD and I was like, okay, so I'm going to do it how I did it in the show. And so I did it in soundcheck. I was like, the whole time. And she went, that's not how you did it in the show. I went, no, I meant like, I'm just going to merge everything out of the year I did and put it in that one verse. And she was like, you can't do that. And so I did tone it down. And even if you couldn't tell it that, it was toned down. But
that is not my assumption.
Oh, great. No, but for me, it's very much in the moment, unless it's like a big riff or a run, because riffs are my favorite thing ever. And anyone who's heard me sing or knows me knows that like, I love a good riff, I do. And so they're never really like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to plan it a few songs before and make sure I do that, unless it's like a big thing. And I remember the run that I do in I Do. But I do.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, I remember being in the music week, and I went to the MD and I was like, guys, I want to do something, you know? And they were like, what do you want to do, my love? And I was, I don't know why I'm doing Bristol.
Everyone's from the West Country.
None of them are from there, but still. And they're like, so what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I really want to put a run because the song's amazing. It's very like, I do, but I do. And I was like, yeah, you know? And so I was like, could I do like a little something? And I was like, they went, okay, do it for us. I did it. And they were like, Andrew's coming in later. Don't do that in front of Andrew. And I went, oh, okay. And I was doing it. I was singing the song, and I was like, I looked over and I was like, oh, screw it. And I went, that I do. And I just remember seeing so many people's faces going, oh! And I just remember seeing Andrew go, and I went, yes, it's in! Because that's all that really matters. Honestly. It's like, it's the notion of like, and it's the notion of like asking for forgiveness, not for permission. I mean, I'm saying that very lightly. I'm not saying go and like totally butcher your songs like I do with like all these warbles. But like in that aspect, all someone would have said was no, and I would have gone, okay, fine, you know? But someone said yes because I actually tried it, you know? So it's that sort of like mentality of if they say no, and you respect that. But if they're like, try it and see, and I tried it and see and it worked off, then it pays off. And I got something in the show which I could do all year and I did it. And that is my favorite run to do in the whole entire show. I literally look forward just to do that one run. And everyone knows that. So it's very much an in the moment type thing with me.
That's amazing. And I think he likes like contemporary vocals.
Well, now see, this is the thing. I was very scared because I was like, this is Andrew Lloyd Webber. I thought he was going to be very linear, very like, we stick to what it is. But I mean, if Starlight taught me anything, I think Starlight was also, we were very lucky because we had a revival which was so different to anything else, you know? If we were coming in with like a Phantom or like even maybe with like a Sunset or something, I think there are some things which you'd be like, okay, but this is a sort of song that it's a very typical musical theatre song or like typically classical song. You can't go changing it. Starlight was so weird that it was, no, in the best way, that it was like, we're doing this revival that 40 years ago, it was the thing that was ahead of its time. However, now that looks, you know, some bits look dated, the same way that now we're trying to make things that seem really modern and fresh. Yeah. So I just loved the authenticity from Andrew and everyone on the music team that was like, we actually want to hear what you want to do and we'll entertain it. If it doesn't go in, it doesn't go in, but we still want to like, they actually worked with me. We sat down and picked apart things that we wanted to do and pieces that we wanted to put in, and they were all ears.
And what would be the point of bringing you and your voice into that show to not use it to its full effect? I also think, there's something else I really want to talk about. I'm so struck by the brilliant confidence and sense of self that you have still at such a young age. And I'm wondering where that comes from for you.
I think it comes from a place of being put in the deep end. When you're in a place where, like, for example, for me, I was so happy, I was over the moon that I got Starlight, you know? And then I was like, oh my goodness, I'm 17. I've moved to London to be the lead in this massive whopping revival. And then I was like, wait a minute, I'm 17. I've moved to London and I'm going to be the lead in this massive whopping revival. I was like, this is scary. But it's like, when you accept the fact that you are in the deep end, it's like you only really have two choices. You can either warble about it and be like, okay, I don't know what to do, I'm going to cry about it. Or you can be like, okay, but what can I make of this? And so for me, it was like, okay, well, I'm going to be confident about it because it's my only choice, really. And it wasn't my only choice, but I convinced my brain that it was. And that works for me. That might not work for everyone, but for me, I was like, I'm going to be self-assured. I'm going to walk into the room on that first day like I belong there, even though I was there going, oh my God, I'm the only one that doesn't know anything. I don't know what downstage means. But I still walked in going, you all right, mate? How you doing? And Andrew was like, but it's the sort of thing, it's like, you know, acting confident and these sorts of things. It tricks not only your brain into thinking that you are, but it tricks other people too. And that's all you really need, because we're in theatre. We are a world of actors and we're a world of like facades. And if you do a facade in a good way, I don't think there's any harm into it. And I think, see, they agree. And I think it's the sort of thing that you can like promote yourself as being confident as much as you want to.
Yeah. You've had an amazing year in the show. It's also been a difficult year in ways. We talked about Western Live, but you also gave a really stunning, moving performance on the Olivier Awards. I cried. Do you want to tell us a little bit about why that meant so much to you?
I mean, apart from the fact that I had an amazing outfit, which moved me to tears, I think it was just, you know, like everything was so fresh, everything was so raw. And I was like, you know, so my mom passed like 2 weeks before the actual performance. And I was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do here? And again, I told myself, I've got two options. I either don't do it, which is totally valid. And no one in the company, everyone literally came to me, every managing person came to me and said, if you don't want to do it, no one will blame you. Also, you have every right not to. And I was like, okay, so that's option A, which is valid. Option B is saying, I am going to do it, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. And again, it's when I give myself those two options, I say to myself, well, for me, it's only going to be option B, because you use it as motivation. Okay, well, whoever is motivating you to do this, in this case, it was my mom. I was like, well, she wanted me to do it. She was the most excited when I said I was going to be at the Olivier's, and I was going to be, she got 3 tickets straight away. She went to a dressmaker because, she had to look amazing and stuff. And I was like, it was weird because I was thinking about the fact that, there was an empty seat there. My family were there. And I was like, this is really, really hard. And it was. But it's also remembering that there's nothing wrong with that. I think so much of the time we force ourselves to have a smile on our face and stuff like that. And you actually don't have to, realistically. There's one thing forcing yourself to be confident and stuff. But it's another thing. I was there on the day and I was backstage. I was in the dressing room and I was like, I'm not at my happiest. I'm not at my best. But I'm going to smash through this performance because I want to. And I know she would want me to. And so I went out on there and I was like, I sent her a little voice message to her phone. I always do that whenever there's something big. I just moved house, I did it. The Olivier's, I did it. Stuff like that. And I was like, hi, Mom. I'm about to go out on the Olivier stage. I know you're going to be there with the best seat in the house. And I'm going to do what you wanted me to do. And, I remember going out on there. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm at the Royal Albert Hall. And it really all got to me. And I was like, wait, no, don't cry yet. I've still got to sing. And so I was sucking in the tears. And I was like, okay, I did it. I sang. And also, the song that we were singing was called I Am the Starlight. And that song is so monumental for Starlight.
With a maternal character.
You know what I mean? Like, she's literally called Mama. I mean, how on the nose is that,
And that last line that you had to give out.
Yeah, and so that changed the perspective of that song for me. Every single time I sang it since. I hadn't been to work, so I came back to London from Birmingham just to do that. And I think I did like one rehearsal and we went straight into it. And I just remember thinking the last line, I was like, I've made it. And I just remember being on that stage at the last bit. I was like, okay, I've got to look up and I've got to say the line. And I said it, which is, I won't let you down as you look up. And I was like, I just went completely. I was like, no, I can't do it. And I was like, no, you can do it. And so right before, I literally said in my head, you've got this, just say it. And I said, I won't let you down, as I was crying. But I was like, it's that which, it was just so monumental. And it was just the ability to have the choice to not do it or do it was amazing, and it was needed. And everyone reacts to grief in very separate ways, and that's totally valid. For me, I really wanted to push through with work at the time. And since then, going back to work, it was really, really, really hard. But I had an amazing family of a cast around me, a crew, the whole company were amazing. And it's crazy though how every single song I sang, the perspective was completely changed. And, every time I hear I Am the Starlight, or I will sing I Am the Starlight, that song specifically, the whole way through, I only think about her. Anything else that's going on, like in other songs, I'll be thinking, okay, am I on my cue? Am I in time with this? But when it gets to I Am the Starlight, I don't think about anything else. And so, if anything, I kind of like it. It's like that little treasured memory. And so I just reminded myself, I am now, every time I am up on stage, even this stage as well, I'm doing it for her. And she would have loved to see it. So that's how I think about it. Yeah.
Oh.
You are remarkable. I'm such a fan. I'm so impressed by you. I'm so proud of you as well. Anyway, finally then, you're at the start of what I think is going to be a really exciting musical theatre career. Are there any dreams, goals? I mean, you've done so much already, but roles you'd like to manifest here on the stage of MickeyJoTheatre Live?
I mean, I remember you asking me this question. So Mickey was actually one of the first friendly faces I saw at these like press stuff and this sort of stuff. And I was like, I know you. Where do I know you from? Not knowing it was like YouTube and stuff like that, which, growing up, I'd watched and stuff like that. And it's like, you were like the first friendly face. And I remember you asking me that question. And the answer hasn't actually really changed. I remember saying, I like to think that my dream role hasn't been created yet, just because I think there's a role out there that will be so perfect for me that if there is any other role right now that I like, it's a role that I like doing, but the role that I'm meant to play is yet to be created, and I can't wait to meet him. I really can't. But I mean, there's so many inspirations. You know, I've got so many from Hamilton, The Wiz. If there was like a gender-swapped version of The Wiz, Dorothy, oh my goodness. Ooh. Whoever is auditioning for that, you better, yeah. I just think that's the sort of role which I would want. I want a powerful role. I want something which, you know, shows who I am. I would really love to be in a play. That's something which really, really motivates me. But anything, I don't really care about what the context of it is. Something which is so authentic and true that I also get to have a bit of a laugh about. I think that's what's out there for me.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see it. You are so talented. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Give it up for Jeevan, everybody.
For 10 more seconds, I'm MickeyJoTheatre. Oh my god, hey. Thanks for watching. Have a stagey day. Subscribe!